Right.
Okay.
Shall we have a quick round of introductions and then sort of get started? I mean, we can, while we're introducing, give everybody a another few minutes. Start on just a quick background people who we do know about. It's quite good.
I think before you do that, we maybe, if whoever's not speaking, if everyone can mute their microphones.
Yeah, you're in the background. Yeah, thanks. That's perfect. Brilliant. So shall we start, Lisa? You go, and then I'll start. You're first one on my frame.
Oh, sorry, what am I doing? I'm introducing myself. Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lisa, and I've spoken to, I think, all of you on email as well. I help with the marketing and, yeah, helping setting up the shop and everyone's portfolios.
Perfect. Everybody knows me. I'm Pafna, and today's coffee, we've got Lesley, who's next on my frame, and Anne. And Lesley and Anne work. Lesley and her launch your craft business. That part of the business works as an affiliate for Artisanry, and we quite often send people Lesley's way when you are really at the early stages of your journey and you're trying to understand how to really make a success out of your business, which is where I think most of us struggle with. It's a big step to take from saying that I'm going to now leave my hobby behind and turn it into a business that pays the bills, not just having to go into Sainsbury to do a few days to pay the bills. This is where sort of this is what Artisanry really wants to do. I keep saying to people, women have this incredible potential which is untapped because we just are too scared to take that step from leaving a hobby behind and saying it's our business, it's a profession. And just from the point of view of sustainable economies and the and actually making a difference in the world, women have so much to contribute, but we just need to sort of chivvy each other along. We need to help each other. And the craft business is so big. I mean, the industry is so huge that there's a place for each one of us here. And Lesley, you've made that jump from a corporate career. Now, you've made that jump from a career in civil services as well. Cara, you were a nurse, so it's really amazing to see. We are seeing people who are finding that confidence in themselves, and I think this is where we want to give that little bit of extra help on the business side and make you even more successful with what you do. So this is where, Lesley, you come in, and Anne, we haven't met before, but thank you very much for joining the coffee. Thank you very much for doing this workshop.
Oh, I'm delighted.
Perfect. Lesley, I'll pass it on to you for a quick introduction and to Anne, and then I think the next one's more on the frame.
Perfect, thanks. Yeah, it's exactly what you just said. The reason that I started doing Launch Your Craft business was I started Seahorse just over a year ago this week, actually. I can't believe it's gone so quickly. And I make jewellery. That's why I'm looking a bit flushed today. Before I came here, I was doing some granulating of silver, which for people who are not jewellers means I was making little silver balls and sticking them to other bits of silver. But I do it over a blowtorch and it's a bit hot. So if I look a bit flushed today, it's not because I'm embarrassed to be here. It's because I've been a bit hot. So I started doing that about a year ago, and I really had no idea. I mean, I'd been in business for years and as a consultant working for big banks and different organisations, but I really didn't have much clue as to where to start with launching a craft business. And I wrote it all down, took notes and whatever, and then eventually pulled it all together into the programmes that we offer now. And the reason I decided to start offering this is because I saw so many talented people like yourselves doing amazing work, but it's not selling. You're not getting it out there. There's no visibility of what you're doing. And if you've not got visibility, then you're not going to sell. It's as simple as that. And I thought it's such a shame that there's so many people doing so many amazing things and that they've taken this leap from a previous job or career to do something different and then they eventually give up because it doesn't pay the bills, it's not successful. So I thought there has to be an easy way to get this information out to people, to get the foundations in place, and just to help you get set up for success, basically. So that's where we are. And I've surrounded myself with experts, people who are great at things that I'm not so good at. And that's why Anne's here today. She's one of the Launch Your Craft Business experts. So Anne, tell them who you are and what you do.
I will do. Thank you. It's really lovely to get to see all these amazing people on the call today, and hopefully get to understand your craft business. So my background is that I met Lesley many years ago, we won't say how many, in a corporate setting, really when I started coaching, and really been a joy to be part of Lesley's journey as she's moved from corporate world to creating her own craft business. And when she asked me to get involved in this Launch Your Craft business, I was really excited because I think a huge part of whatever we do across the whole spectrum of life, we've got to find what is it that makes us tick, and the joy and the beauty of what you're creating with your craft business is it'll be coming from the inside out. And that can get a little bit challenging at times when you're working on your own. So I'm all about really tapping into our own inner wisdom, our inner creativity, and how do you pull on that resource when the days are a little bit difficult, or how do you pull on that resource when you really want to get excited and really tap into your creativity? So hopefully we're going to get a little taster of that today, and it's great to be here. So that's all I'll say.
Thank you very much, Anne, and thanks, Lesley. Shall we do a very quick round? Carl, by the way, you are getting recorded in case you tell me later that you didn't know. So just in case, shall we just do a very quick round in terms of, so that you can get an idea of who does what? I think it won't take too long, but shall we, I've got you more on my frame. Do you want to just a couple of words to say what you do and where do you think you want to be? Maybe that's a good starting point. Where do you see your business go? If everybody sort of talks about that, that will give Lesley and Anne an idea of where you guys are. Let's not take too long. Let's just do a very quick one around the table. Mauve, do you want to go first?
Hello. Yeah, my name is Mauve. I'm a sustainable and historical beekeeper and master candle maker. And where do I want to go? Not far. I just want to have enough and a tiny bit more, and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a goal we can work with. That's fine. Emma, you're next on my frame. Tell us about yourself. I was just looking at your video today. I have to say I'm really impressed. I did not realize how accomplished you were until I saw all those magazine covers and all those awards come up. Your work is beautiful. Sorry, I'll stop now.
That's all right. Thank you very much. I'm Emma. I'm new to the Artisanry community. Sorry, that's my son. Artisanry community. I'm an artist, so I deal mainly with like eco-friendly, sustainable products, materials, everything like that, and I create wildlife pieces, sometimes with gold, sometimes without. And yeah, I've been doing it full time for about 5 or 6 years. But obviously I want to sort of branch out in a little bits as well. Yeah, like you said, I've done quite a few bits with publication.
All right. So we missed the last bit, but I think we've got, yeah, but no, thank you very much. I've got you next, Katrina, on my frame. I know you're newer to the journey than a lot of other artists, so it'll be good to hear from you. What do you do?
So I'm a fiber artist. So I make mostly needle felted jewelry and ornaments, and I also do watercolors. And I'm kind of looking for a way to upscale those things that's still sustainable. So I don't really want to be making like vast amounts of products, but more like offering things that are like maybe tutorials or different like services, or more like one-off pieces. So I'm just looking at a way to upscale that way.
Thank you. Emma, I'm going to skip Emily and Candice, right? They're responsible for the content that we put out. So they do attend the workshops to get an idea of what our makers do. So unless, Emily, you're trying to get into the business, shall I skip you and go over to Shirani? Yes, okay. Shirani, your turn. If you want to talk about what you do and where do you think you want to be in about a few years' time? Can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now? Yeah. So I'm a jewelry designer maker, and I have been making for about 6 years now, but I have started as a business about 2 years ago. And I want to be seen and a bit more exposed to people, and maybe get my work to be sold, because at the moment sales are really, really down. So just to be exposed and get some money to get more tools to be able to do this job.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Shirani. I've got you next, Jennifer. Again, I think you're new to the journey, and Jennifer does jewelry as well, but out of Cork, so really sustainable. Am I right, Jennifer?
That's right, yeah. So brand new to this, and fairly new to sort of the business aspect of it. Been making cork jewellery and decorations, wreaths for a little while, and literally just sort of the last month or so getting my head around making it into a business rather than just kind of a passion project. So yeah, very much sustainable, and using upcycled secondhand jewellery as well now. So it's a bit of an exploration at this point, but I'm hoping to sort of build that over the next couple of years, I suppose.
All right. Now, you're on mute. Naomi, can you hear me? Yes, that's you. Perfect.
No, missed my name, sorry. So I'm Naomi. I make nature-inspired silver jewellery. I launched back in November, so it's been quite a tough time to kind of launch a business. Quite new to running a business. Really crap at not crap at social media, but that's the bit I need to really do, because lots of face-to-face stuff now. It's all online, so there's a challenge there. And yeah, looking forward to meeting everybody and hearing your wisdom and learning from it.
We'll try. We'll try. Thank you, Naomi. Joanna, I've got you next. If you, we can't see you, but just I don't know if your video is off or if you want to talk.
Hi, I'm a mosaic artist. So I'm sort of experimenting with different styles. So I need to probably focus on one particular area. Mm-hmm. I've made a few sales, but it's a bit hit and miss at the moment.
Okay, and where do you want to be in a few years' time? I mean, are you trying to move the business to a more professional level? Is that what the aspiration is?
Yeah, I want to make some like consistent money from it. I was doing workshops as well, but they stopped due to COVID. So maybe trying to put that online. I'm not sure at the moment.
Okay, all right, thank you. Cara, I've got you next.
Hi. Sorry, I've just been struggling. I'm on my iPhone, so it's a little bit dodgy at the moment. So I've been doing this since, I do ceramics, hand-built ceramics. So I make sort of functional wear, but also sort of ornamental pieces, raku pieces as well. And also been starting some workshops, so whether they're just one-off workshops or courses. And I think my long-term plan is to build on the audience I have on social media, or like trying to sort of build the right audience, enhance that a bit more. And our long-term goal is that my husband joins me in the business, because he does that sort of in his own time at the moment, but that would be our long-term goal.
All right, thank you. That's really good. Sally, I've got you next.
Hi, I'm Sally, and I also make sustainable jewellery. So it's handmade, silver and some gold, but that's all by commission, the gold. I can't have that in stock. but I love all the sustainability that I can see today, which is lovely.
And where do you, I mean, Sally, is this your full-time work at the moment, or are you also transitioning a member?
I'm mostly full-time. I'm still doing a little bit of teaching, but I'm an art teacher by training, so I still do some art teaching, but I'm pretty much full-time now.
All right, thank you. Jenna, I've got you next.
Sorry, I was just unmuting myself. Hi, I'm Jenna. I'm an acrylic abstract artist, and I'm branching out into all sorts of areas at the moment. So I'm applying my designs to hand painted and handcrafted jewellery, as well as I'm doing some Christmas decorations at the moment. I've got those in process, and I'm also going down the route of getting my artwork licensed for commercial use. The thing that I'm struggling with at the moment is just I'm getting very overwhelmed because I've got so much to do, and I'm trying to outsource where I can, but I think my biggest issue, to be honest, is online. I haven't mastered online at all. Social media I'm just about okay with, but it's so much work just to do one post, and I do struggle in that area, and actually getting my stuff online and getting it out there, I do struggle. I do have a website, but I'm just not great online, and that's about the top and bottom of it, really. So I'm just working on time management, really, and how I can best use my time, because I don't think me faffing around on a computer for 6 hours that's not a good use of my time. So I do really struggle with that, so I'm trying to do everything myself. So
okay, thank you. I think that's something that everybody would echo here in terms of the time and the social media and the internet side of it. So Carl, I've got you last. Go on.
Hi there, my name's Carl, and I'm a professional musician, teacher, and mixed media embroidery artist. And what I'm looking to do is to have my embroidery art being at the forefront of what I do, and that my teaching, music and stuff like that kind of goes into the background a bit more, because I've been doing that for 20 years. And I think what I'm looking at is how I use my designs, not just in creating stuff and making them for people to buy, but how I can maybe license my designs, that people can buy my designs and do with them as they wish, but within reason, where they're not making money from my work. So I think that's kind of where I want to go in the future.
All right, thank you. Now that's very interesting as well. So we've got a really mixed bag today, right from jewelers to embroiderers to artists, and all felt artists and pottery, everything. So a bit of everything for you guys. Lesley, I'll hand over to you and Anne, and we'll take it from there. Sorry, Candice, I've missed you. I'm assuming you're not launching your craft business either, so I've just sort of left you on that. Sorry, Candice and Emily, as I said, do write the content, so they'd like to listen into workshops just to get an idea and feel of who our makers are. So Lesley, over to you. I'll go on mute now.
Thank you very much. So the good thing is that everybody's exactly where they should be at the moment in terms of launching their craft business, because the focus has to be on creating your product, and that's what you're all doing. There's none of you said you're struggling to actually make anything. You all know what you want to make. You're quite clear. I think someone said they're trying to find their niche, Joanna, with your mosaic, but you know that you're a mosaic artist. It's just trying to find that niche that's going to help you to make money from it. So you're on your way. You've started your journey, and that's great. And what we're going to do today is just to help try and focus, not so much on shaping where you go creatively, but to make sure that you've got the time to do your creative work, and as I think was it what Jenna just said just now, about the whole time management thing. The business side of things needs to be as efficient as possible. Nobody wants to spend hours a day online. Nobody wants to spend hours faffing about creating social media posts and trying to fix a website and all that sort of thing. And that's why we've pulled together the courses that we have. And I'm so pleased that you're all at that exact stage, that you need the kind of things that we're going to share with you. So I'll get the sort of salesy bit out the way first. And I wasn't really going to get into it today, but I think some of you could really benefit from the course that we have starting on Monday. It's called Rapid Start, and it's 5 nights. It's an hour each night online. And we really go through everything step by step, starting from the basics, the real foundations. We're going to touch on some of it today. But we look at what's your purpose, what you're trying to achieve, finding your ideal clients, where do they hang out online, how are you going to access those ideal clients, where are you going to find them, how are you going to get your work in front of them so that they can then buy it. And then we get into a whole load of practicalities about websites, social media sites, where do you need to be, how to price, how to create your brand, how to get your brand out there, and right through to sort of really practical ones, which some of you probably already got in place, and things like insurance, how to get set up for tax, and just everything. So we go through the 15 steps over the 5 days. All our course material is on a portal called Teachable. So you can dip in and out of that for the rest of your life. You've got all the links, the top tips, the step-by-step process. It's all there for you. But the benefit of coming on the calls during the week is that you get to talk about problems that are specific to your business, your situation. And also we have a group on Facebook where you can post stuff. It's like a sort of safe place. So when you're taking product photos, or you've created a new product or a logo and you think, oh God, this is crap, no one's going to buy from me, blah, blah, blah. It's a safe place to post stuff and get feedback on it. So it's probably something that we could see a real difference for some of you really quickly. And I'll give one example. I had a girl who will remain nameless because she'll be embarrassed. But one month ago, she was really stressed about coming on the course and didn't really know what she was doing with her business, and just really a lot of anxiety about what she was trying to do. A big transition for her because she quit her job. And she now has a brand. She's got amazing visibility. We did a student showcase for her last week, very similar to what you're doing at Artisanry Co. And on the first day, she had 6,000 views of one of her bags. She's pulled her whole business together in 3 weeks, from starting the course on the Monday night. 3 weeks later, she's got an offering, she's got a brand, she's got a logo, she's just about got her website up and running. And you know, she immersed herself in what we're teaching her and just really went for it. So anything's possible, and I don't want you to limit your thinking now to say, oh well, you know, I can't possibly do all this because I've got this to do, I've got kids to manage, I've got my job, she works full time, or she was working full time, she's only just quit. And you know, she's done this. It's an amazing achievement what she's done, going from nothing to now having this fantastic product. So somebody, I think was it Mauve, said at the beginning, I just want to ask you something, Mauve, before we get into the real content of today. You said that you don't want to make a lot more. I take it you're talking about money. You don't want to be too successful. Tell me about that. I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, Mauve, sorry.
Well, the thing is, most of my sales are on markets. And I do historical markets and living history displays and showcase what I'm doing and produce sales on the markets. So that is fine. Yeah, I was complete booked this year, and then the virus hit, you know. So yeah, so that is fine. So organizer pay me to turn up. So the moment I set up my camp, I'm set. So everything is fine, and all the money I do creates enough to survive and to live. Yeah, so I don't need more. I don't need more. Yeah. So that is all I was saying. Yeah.
Okay.
At the moment, the virus, of course, you know, it's a different thing. But if everything works as planned and as normal, online sales would be nice. Yeah. But I don't need a lot of online sales. Yeah. I just need enough. At the moment, I just need enough to survive. Yeah,
I understand that, and it's quite surprising.
It's a life choice, you know. It's a life choice. So it's not that I want to make thousands and thousands of money. I just want to have enough and a tiny bit more to invest.
Okay, so there's a huge demand for natural products now, the sort of thing that you're making, your candles, and you could be hugely successful. And it's normally a female thing where we don't want to be too successful, don't want to impact on our lifestyle, but money buys freedom. Money gives you the opportunity to make choices and to invest in yourself or in your business or in educating people about why bees are so important. You know, so don't limit your thinking around that just now. Having a lot of money doesn't need to change your life in a bad way, but you could be hugely successful with what you're doing. So I just wanted to talk to that, and Anne will get more into that. That's her area of expertise. So okay, so on that note, goal setting then. So we're going to get our pens and paper out, and this is the bit where you guys start to really rack your brains. We have to make you do some work. What I want you to do is to write down your top 3 goals in terms of finances, in terms of money. If your business was successful, what would that mean for you? So it could be something like, I could give up my day job that I hate. Oh, that would be me, sorry. Not everyone's like me. There's nothing wrong with working in a bank or a corporate environment. It's great fun working 12 hours a day and having to do as you're told, even though you think they're wrong. Anyway, I'm just about over it. Moving on. It could be that you just have extra money to go traveling, or maybe you want to leave where you live now and go and live somewhere else, because that's the beauty of a craft business. You can pack up your tools and take them with you. I'm in Spain doing my thing. Great, love it. Can't be doing with the cold and the rain on sunny Edinburgh, which is never very sunny when I'm there. So, you know, what does it mean for you? If your business was successful, what would be those top 3 things that success would buy? Apart from the fact that it allows you to continue to be a maker. So then, if you've got those down, give you a couple of minutes. I don't know what's going on with my hair today. I've got this big fluffy bit at the front. I think it's the heat from the torch giving me a bit of a quiff, Elvis quiff.
I think you just showed off that you're in the warmth and we are in the very cold, damp Edinburgh.
I'm only warm because I don't know if you were on when I was telling them before. I've been doing silver work today. My torch gets up to like 700 degrees, so it's getting
We've been drowning in rain for the last 3 days. I promise you, this is damp and this is cold here.
Oh Lord, can't be doing with that. Moved to Spain. It's great. Love it. Okay, so we've got our financial goals. What would it mean if our businesses were successful? And then I want you to think about what it would mean in non-financial terms. So if your business was successful, what would it mean? So it can be things like freedom to work your own hours, take your kids to work or your dog, I have my dog in the studio, except when I'm doing things with a blowtorch or a drill, because he can't be trusted, gets in the way. It could be that it would give you a feeling of satisfaction to have the recognition of people buying your work, to appreciate your creativity. Or it could be something completely different. What does it mean for you in non-financial terms to be successful? I know Shirani's going to have difficulty writing. She's obviously on the move. But in your head, Shirani, you're on mute, by the way, as well.
I think every Wednesday Shirani joins the workshops, but she's always on the move on a Wednesday afternoon. I think that's your studio day. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
That's it.
Oh, good. I just came upstairs so that I'm away from the other people. Yeah, so in terms of my jewelry business, I would like to be seen and be recognized by people. And I would like people to enjoy wearing what I make. And I suppose that comes with the selling of the jewelry, because if you don't sell, people don't get to wear it. So at the moment, sales are really, really down and bad. And more than the sales, I like to sort of people to appreciate and enjoy. And jewelry is not just for short term, it can be even, you know, for generations and generations, because it's handmade and it's sterling silver and it's good quality jewelry. So it's just to be recognized and people to enjoy what I make is something that I will be looking forward to getting out of doing this as well.
Perfect. That's exactly the sort of thing we're looking for in the non-financial goals. Okay, so thanks, Shirani. So moving on then, what we're going to do next is take a journey into the future with the lovely Anne. And what I want to do is come back to these goals once you've met your future self. Sorry, Shirani, can you go on mute again now, because there's some background noise there. Sorry, thank you. So yeah, what we're going to do is come back and visit these goals after we've had a conversation with our future selves and get more specific about exactly what we want out of the future. And the reason we do this is not just for fun. It's really interesting to hear what everybody wants to do, but if we don't know where we're going, how are we ever going to get there? We're not going to move forward. So we need to be really specific, really clear why we're doing these things. And also, it's really hard running a craft business by yourself, because most of us work in isolation. I mean, I'm in my studio morning till night, never speak to anybody apart from this sort of thing. And when sales are down, things are getting difficult. This bloody virus just goes on and on. It's really hard to keep motivated and keep focused on why we're doing what we're doing. So these goals that you're writing down today and the ones that you're going to write down after Anne does her session, you're going to come back to these time after time and say, yeah, I have to keep focused. I need to keep going. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. So there's method in our madness. This is setting the foundations for your path to success with your business. And it's a really important first step. So on that note, I'm going to hand over to Anne, and she's going to take us into the future.
Okay, thank you, everybody. So as we go through this, I'm going to ask some questions, and these are just for questions for you to ask yourself. So you don't need to respond out loud or anything. And when we finish, we're just going to grab our pen and paper and we're going to jot down some of the insights and wisdom, hopefully, that you get from this visualization. On a personal point, I kind of started this journey about nearly 20 years ago. And when I did this visualization, my future self, it was a complete revelation for me, because there was somebody inside that really wanted to come out that wasn't around at that time. And I have to say, there's an awful lot of her now. I don't think I'm quite in these size 10 trousers that I want to be, but other than that, there's an awful lot of her is here now. So she's kept me going as I've been on my own journey, creating my own business. Okay, so what I want you really to do is, you do whatever you want during this, switch your camera off, everybody's on mute. This is your time just to focus on you, and we're going to go on this journey together, okay? There is no right or wrong way to do this. Sometimes I'll ask a question, it might resonate, it might not, just forget it. We'll just go on, just get back listening to what we're doing, okay? Okay, everybody, so really up to you, whatever you want to do, and I'm just going to take you through this visualization. Okay, so I want you to take a deep breath, breathing in and breathing out. And start by feeling your feet on the ground. And if you could imagine that you could breathe from the ground into your feet, just start to kind of get that sense of connecting to the ground and really grounding yourself. It's always a bit tense, just no matter what we start to do when we come on these type of calls. So just feel, kind of push your heels into the ground and feel your body kind of connected to the ground. And then I want you to become aware of your legs, up into your thighs, into your pelvic area, and just really just connect to your breath and just switch off from all the stuff that you've been doing this morning. And then come up, breathing through the tummy, becoming aware of your chest, up into your neck, breathing up into the forehead, and then right up to the crown. And as you breathe into the center of the crown, I want you just to imagine that you are getting your brain coming into balance. And just allowing the brain to calm. You know that when you're in your flow and you're creating your work, that things just come really easy. So having this sense of calmness in the brain helps calm our body. So throughout this meditation, there's no need to put any stress on yourself. And if your mind wanders off to, oh my goodness, I've got to do such and such, just come back to your breathing. It's perfectly natural. So we're going to go on a journey together where you get to meet your future self, you in 2030. And as you feel yourself relax, I want you to imagine that you're standing in a forest. And as you look ahead, you see this cute cottage. And as you walk towards the cottage, you're excited because you're going to meet your future self. And your future self is excited to meet you and to share the wisdom of their experience and the joy in being able to live the life they want through their creativity and the business that they have created. And as you walk up to the door opens and your future self greets you. How does your future self sound? How does your future self look? How do they stand? What types of clothes are they wearing? If they have jewellery on, what kind of jewellery do they have? And what do you capture about the essence of your future self? And you're just going to take a moment there, just where you connect to your future self and just capturing the essence of this person. So your future self invites you in and you sit down together to have a coffee, and they're ready to share with you any information that you wish. And as you begin to chat, ask your future self, what was it that made you decide to start your business or take your business to this next level? And what was it like for your future self in the beginning? What did your future self focus on in the early stages and the first 6 months, and then a year, and then onwards? And ask yourself, where did they get the energy and drive and passion to come from that really held them as they continued to work in these last 10 years? And ask your future self, what was it that your future self wanted to achieve? What type of customers did they want to attract? How did she get clear who her clients were, who her customers were? How did your future self create the lifestyle that they wanted? What was it that made your future self really happy in those initial months and years? Was it the excitement of seeing the orders come in? Was it the excitement of your brand coming alive? Was it the customer feedback? What was it? Or was it just the sheer joy of being able to pay your bills? What was it that really your future self, that sustained your future self throughout that 10-year period? And what other questions would you like to ask your future self? As you look at your future self, what insights do you have now? How do you feel inside now that you've met your future self? Is there a place in your body where you feel some excitement, some inner knowing, something that feels like that kind of elevated emotion? And take a moment to connect to that feeling. You might even have a name for your future self. Your time with your future self is coming to an end now. However, now that you've connected with your future self, you can call on him and her at any time and ask for advice. Get that feel in your tummy or whatever it is about the drive and the motivation, and just connect with them any time from now on in. And as you get ready to leave your future self, thank them for taking the time to meet with you today. And as you leave the cottage, wave goodbye and walk through the forest. And as you leave the forest, come back to just now focusing on your breath, breathing in and breathing out. And again, just becoming aware of your whole body. Feeling the breath calming from the top of the head, right the way down through the body. Down into the soles of your feet, and feel your feet connecting to the ground. And now as we finish, just take a moment to capture any points that you've got that your future self has shared with you today. We'll just give you a couple of minutes. Okay, I see a couple of people still writing, so we'll just give it another minute or so, just jot down anything that's coming to mind. And I really just want to say that future self, this is just the start of the connection with him. It's just about really, you know, waking up in the morning and thinking about what would that person do today? Because really you can bring in the energy of that person now, especially in the days where it's challenging, or when you're feeling a bit lonely working in your workshop, or you were really hoping that something would happen sales-wise and it hasn't. So there's something about holding that vision of that person, that longer term, big A agenda for your life. I know we're tight on time and things, I don't want to spend too much longer, but has anybody got any insight they want to share with the group? Does anybody feel comfortable? I understand if you don't, but it's just useful sometimes if...
Was there anything that jumped out for anyone that was really surprising? Something they thought, oh, didn't see that coming? Everyone's gone shy now. That's okay.
I say something.
How?
Sorry. So one of the things for me is, like, as I am now is how I want to be in the future.
Fabulous.
So, like, you know, the feeling that I have about the work that I do and how I work with people, I really love it, and I would hate for that to change. So it's about capturing what is now is perfectly fine. As to whatever will come in the future will also be perfectly fine. That's the biggest.
That's brilliant. And that's fabulous. And the thing is, what's great is you've already got that sense, and you've got that physical sense of who that person is, which is brilliant, because that's in your energy and that's what you're bringing to your creativity every day. So that's amazing. That's fabulous. And having that consciousness around it is brilliant as well. So that's superb. Looking forward to finding out more as well as to how that comes, you know, how you connect in the next 10 years, because you've got it now, which is brilliant. Because actually we all have it now, we just sometimes have got a misconnect with it.
And we forget. We get caught up in life and all the nonsense that happens on social media, and we forget that we've got everything we need inside us already.
Mm-hmm.
We just need a bit of direction sometimes. Thank you, Anne. That was lovely. I always do the exercise when Anne does this, because we do it at the start of the course as well. And every time for me, something different comes up. And this time, my message is just keep going. Because it is hard. It's hard for everybody. So, so my future selves just tell me, just get your head down and get on with it. Keep going. So, okay. Right. What I want you to do now. Oh, sorry. One thing I want to say as well. Anne does a weekly meditation online. It's free. So if you are feeling a bit overwhelmed, stressed, down, whatever, I can thoroughly recommend taking, it's 30 minutes, Anne, isn't it?
30 minutes on a Monday, one at 12:30 and one at 7 o'clock at night. So we can we'll send
thoroughly recommend attending that, just to reconnect with what you've gone through today. We'll put a link on after the call, but it's free, so you know, feel free to take advantage of that as well. So go back to the list that you wrote before you met your future self, have a look at what you put, and if there's anything that you want to tweak or change, now's the time. But what I want you to do as well is to get really specific about what those goals are. So we're actually changing them from goals, which are quite vague, to specific targets. So if you need to be working full time in your craft business, how much money do you need to be making to pay your bills, your mortgage, to go on holiday, to buy new, I was going to say new clothes and shoes, but you're all makers, to buy new tools, let's be honest. And revisit that. So we get into this in a lot more detail in the course, but as Anne says, we don't have a lot of time today. So this is just to give you a taste of the sorts of things that we go through. So go back and retweak, and if there's anything else that came up in the non-financial stuff, have a look at that as well. And it might be, as Carol says, you know, keeping hold of that feeling, that sense of self, your sense of purpose that you already have. So go back and revisit that. We're going to move on now to think about your ideal customer. And what we've done is we've set an intention of what we want to achieve from our business. And the next step is to start thinking about how are we going to make that happen? How do we make that become reality? Now, we could sit and chant and meditate and manifest things and tell the universe we really want it, and that may or may not work. Or we could actually create a plan, a step-by-step plan that's going to get us there. So in the absence of the universe intervening, I'm going to go with the solid plan approach. So we're going to talk about ideal customer. And the reason that ideal customer is so important is if we do not know who our ideal customer is, we're going to adopt the machine gun approach to marketing, which basically means we spray out a load of social media posts, we advertise, we spend money on ads on Facebook, on Pinterest, we promote our website, we do all sorts of stuff in the hope that something hits somebody. In the vast universe or world of 7 billion people, let's hope that one of them spots what you're doing and wants to buy something from you. Don't recommend this approach. It very rarely results in a successful business. So we're going to go with a sniper approach. We're going to take one shot and we're going to hit them. So this is getting a bit violent. Let's move away from that analogy. Let's not do that. So what we want to do is really hone in and understand who our ideal customer is, and then we can work out where they hang out online. So then we know where we should be targeting, where we should be selling, what platform we should be using to get our message out there. So turn your bit of paper over, or new page if you've got a book. We're going to draw a stick person, male or female, whatever you think is appropriate for your ideal customer. I'm just going to shut the door because I think we're having a storm and I don't want my hair going off. It's bad enough today. Right. It's all happening on the weather front. It's like being in Scotland, 4 seasons in one day. Okay, so ideal customer then. We're going to get really specific, and I'm going to give you an example using my Seahorse brand. So I make ethical jewellery from sea glass and eco silver, and I am very clear on who I'm selling to. So my ideal customer's name is Louise, and Louise Godlover works in an IT department for a bank in London, in the basement. She very rarely sees daylight, Godlover. And she dreams of her weekends spent at the beach. She likes to go and collect pebbles and stones and shells and all sorts off the beach. She goes surfing. She's a bit of a hippie girl. She's very much into her care for the environment. She likes to buy eco-friendly products. She goes on plastic cleanups on the beach every so often. She's not really very fashionable, but she has to buy smart clothes for work, so she goes to the likes of Hobbs, and I don't know where's fashionable anymore. I've been away from the UK too long, but wherever it is, she's going there. But she only buys her work clothes there on the weekend. She goes to Fat Face and gets loads of comfy, surfy type clothes to chill out. She likes to take her dog to the beach on the weekends. The magazines she buys are things about beach houses, beach lifestyle, about sustainability. She started looking into becoming vegetarian, and her plan is to, in 2 or 3 years' time, give up her IT job and do something more fun or more creative or something to do with environmental protection. But until such time, she's stuck in that basement, and she buys my jewellery because it supports her philosophy, her beliefs as well, and it reminds her of when she goes to the beach and reminds her of what her future is about, where she wants to be. So it's not because my jewellery is any more special than anyone else's on Etsy or Pinterest or whatever. It's because of the philosophy, and it's because of what it reminds her of. It's what it engages in her brain, that whole beach lifestyle. So that's a quite, I could go on and on and on about poor Louise, but that's the sort of level of detail that I want you guys to get to. So you're going to start off just by making little speech bubbles or notes around your stick person. Where do they work? What's their job? Now, I know some of you are going to struggle with this because you don't really yet understand what your niche is for your business. You maybe don't really have a philosophy. I know some of you do. You talked about the sustainability or being influenced by nature, that sort of thing. So you've started that journey. But this is to help you get really clear on what your business purpose is. Why are you different? Why would I buy from you and not some faceless company on Amazon? Don't get me started about Amazon Prime Day. I know it's today, yesterday and today. Don't go on Amazon. Buy handmade. See the subliminal messaging. What are you doing? So yeah, so let's get into it. Where does this person work? What do they dream of? Where do they shop? What philosophy do they follow? Where do they go on holiday? What books do they read? What magazines would they buy? I don't know if anyone still buys magazines or it's all gone online, but if they were buying a magazine at the train station, what magazines would they be tempted towards? What do they do on the weekend? What's their favourite activity? What do they secretly want to do, but they've never had the courage to do it? So let's jot down little notes all around our little stick figures and start to shape this person's personality. Now, the important thing is that this is not going to describe absolutely everybody who buys from you, but what it's doing is helping you to focus and understand what your company is about, why your brand is different. And you may be sat there thinking, don't have a company, don't really have a brand, but that's the purpose of doing all of this, setting the foundations, because you need to create a brand. You need to find your unique selling point. That's a very marketing speak term, your unique selling point, your USP. But that's really what it is. It's trying to set you apart from all the other hundreds of makers out there by creating that brand and giving people something to believe in. Who are you? Who are they buying from? So Sally's already done her ideal client, so that's great. Emma says, I have different clients based on what I create. Will I still create one that varies the whole client base? So Emma, you raise a very good point there. So you need a different ideal client for different products or for different brands that you're going to create. So if you're targeting the custom market for people who are going to buy art to put on their wall in their penthouse somewhere, then that's a very different ideal customer from somebody who's maybe looking for art to put on the walls of show houses, or somebody who's buying something to give as a gift for their daughter or something for their new house. These are all very different markets. So you need to think about which one or one or two that you want to focus on and create an ideal client for each one, and maybe a different brand for each one. Now, I'm just going to talk briefly about this chap who did our course in the summer. and for the love of me, I can't remember his name. Let's call him Bob. And Bob made wooden signs. So the sort of thing you put on the front of your house, or if you had a pub or something like that. He made sort of vintage, they weren't old, but they looked old kind of signs. It's a reclaimed wood sort of thing. And he painted them, did the artwork and sold them. And he wasn't selling very many. And he had a very bland logo. It was like Bob's paint products or Bob's painted goods, or so. There was nothing, it was black and white, there was no style to it, it was basically just his name. And he wasn't selling very much. He couldn't figure out why his very simple name and whatever wasn't appealing to people, why no one was buying his signs online. People would come and see them at craft fairs and things and buy stuff, but when he had to move online, no idea what was going on. And basically what we did with Bob was say, right, your ideal customer is Mary, Louise's mum. She lives in Middle England. She's a Daily Mail reader. She likes to have a nice house. She likes to have the odd antique thing in her house. And it was basically Hyacinth bouquet, Hyacinth bouquet. And what we need to do is tap in to Hyacinth's or Mary's aspirations. So what is it that she's looking for? She likes flowery things, she likes pastel colours, nice soft greens, nice soft pinks, and something that is a bit more aspirational. So we redid Bob's logo, his whole brand, everything, and it's now something like country cottage signage or something like that, because that's what Hyacinth aspires. She lives in a little semi in a cul-de-sac, a quite new cul-de-sac, but she aspires to live in a country cottage somewhere with roses round the door and whatever. So we're tapping into her aspirations. She's the ideal client. Now Bob's selling loads of signs. We've got everything's all done. He's got a nice sage green coloured logo with sort of ivy around the outside of it, and it's all about tapping into what Hyacinth wants to buy. It's not about reflecting Bob's personality or Bob's approach that, oh well, my signs speak for themselves. Well, they kind of don't, Bob, because no one's buying them. So you're trying to put yourself into the shoes of that customer, that ideal client, and tap into what they want. What do they dream about? Does that make sense to everybody? I know it's quite a lot to take in. We've covered loads in this session today, but it's just to get you to start thinking that these are the kind of questions that you need to start thinking about, the things that you need to answer. So you know now from the work we've done what your goals are. You've got a bit more specifics around those. You met your future self. You know where you're going, where you want to be. And you've started the journey around how you're going to get there. The first step is getting really honed in on who that target audience is. Who is that client? And then once we've got that, we can move on to start thinking about it. Where do they hang out? Where are they going to be if they're online? How are they going to shop when the virus strikes? Because we're all going into lockdown again soon, I can guarantee it. So how are they going to do their Christmas shopping? Where are they going to be? But that's the subject of another course, or next week's course if you decide to join us on Monday. Okay, so you're all looking a bit, oh my God, so much to think about, overwhelmed. You're supposed to be helping us with our overwhelm, not making it worse.
Lesley, just one thing I want to add about the course next week as well is the fact that it's recorded. So that sometimes trying to get 5 nights in a row to come on can be quite a lot logistically. But the fact it's recorded, and lots of times people have missed the odd class, but then we share the information, people then get back in touch on Facebook. The one thing I love about what we've been doing in the last 2 or 3 courses is seeing the creativity come alive, but also the support and the feedback that everybody in the group gives each other.
It's
That's been a huge, it's been amazing, much more than I could ever have dreamed for. So just want to say logistically and from a support side, it's a lot of fun, and
we do have a laugh.
We do have a lot of laughs, so it's good feedback and support for each other. So
yeah. Does anybody have any questions about the work we've done today, about goals, about the future self piece, about ideal client? If you're sitting on a burning question, speak now, or otherwise come and find us on the Facebook group, or ask in the comments below. I'm sure this call is going to be posted.
I'm already posting, Lesley. It's on Facebook at the moment. Yeah, as Carl found out the hard way last time. That's why he's quieter today. But no, this was really, really useful, because what I realized when we started the visualization, I thought I'm going to do it as well. And I thought, hang on, I should know my top 3 financial and non-financial goals. I've got enough lengthy documents spanning pages and pages, chapter and verse, talking about business plans and financial statements. And you know what? I didn't know. I didn't know what I really wanted. I mean, I know what I want, but to be that specific, and that was very interesting, because I thought, I've got it all written down, I've got it all sussed out, and you know, it's all there. But it's interesting that when you asked the top 3, I couldn't point out, and I really struggled to put them down, which made me think that when I was coming on this, I thought, this is not really, I don't really need it. But the fact is that sometimes you do need it, because you need to be pointed out. However well planned you are in your own head, I think you need a third party to sometimes ask you, what is it, you know, that you're doing, not to tell anybody else, but to sort of think in ourselves. It might be clear in our head, but when you write it down, it's not really clear. So I still don't have my third non-financial goal. And all I could come up with, really, it will make you laugh actually, on non-financial goal. I've always hated working on a Friday, and the last few years when I was in the bank, I dropped my days. I was doing compressed 4.5 days, and I thought, gosh, that'll be a great time when I can stop working a Friday and you know, stop working these ridiculous hours. So I keep saying to Lisa, my ideal is that in about a year's time, we are going to work only a 4-day week without a pro rata on our salary, because that's, you know, you do enough in those 4 days. That's all I could come up with. I didn't know what else I wanted.
Goal. But that's a great goal to have. It's very specific. So, you know, 4-day week, perfect. We all should strive for that.
Can I ask if your Facebook group is open to people who are not on your courses?
So we have the Facebook page, which has got some information on it, some top tips and whatever. But we call it the VIP group, is only for people who are on the course. Because they're paying for it, it's not fair to give the access to everybody. But the course, I think for you guys, it's only £35. You get it half price. So don't let the cost put you off. You get so much value out of it. And the course material is full of free resources as well. Loads of stuff that you didn't know you could use for free to help you with all this stuff around brands and social media and whatever. So it pays for itself. You know, I say that quite confidently. So. Sorry, Carl, say again.
What's the name of the Facebook page?
Launch Your Craft Business. We'll put all the links on the comments of this call. So
if you send the links to Lisa as well, Lesley, we'll send an email around and send the links around as well. Carl, the course is on the website, on Artisanry's website as well. So if you did want to go and buy it, you could do that.
Yeah, you can book it through the. Lisa will probably pop that link on as well. You can do it directly through Artisanry to get your discount. So I think it would definitely be good for a lot of you to go through this. And one of the things that put a couple of people off joining before was they thought that they had to do everything in that 5 days. You don't have to. You go through the course, we tell you all the things that you need to be thinking about, but then you go away and work on it in your own time and your own pace. So it can be done to actually launch by the end of the week to get everything in place, but you would kill yourself doing it. And nobody's needing any more stress in their life at the moment. So we take you through all a reasonably, it's not as high level as today, but we take you through it at a reasonably high level. And then you go away and work through, and then as you hit an obstacle or you're not sure about something, you're in that VIP group on Facebook and you just ask. You know, we're on Messenger all the time. You can post in the group and get feedback from the other participants. It's really supportive. People are honest but constructive. We don't allow bad behaviour. So yeah, it's really helpful, and I think a lot of you would benefit from it. So
I think worth adding the insights that people get from people like your experts who've been involved in technology and marketing. It just saves you wasting so much time on other things that are not productive. And I mean, I've learned so much being part of the group without even really. So
we've got Anka, who's our IT expert, so all things to do with different platforms, websites, whatever. She's fantastic. She does a session on the course. And we've also got Lizzie, who does email marketing, how to build your list and all that sort of good stuff, and why email is so important. So she's been working in that field for donkey's years now. Don't tell her I said that, because it will suggest that I'm implying she's old, and she's not. She's much younger than me. But yeah, there's so much that we cover. It's just fantastic. And I say the girl that does Foxy handbags, she's just done phenomenally well. I mean, it's just completely taken off for her in such a short space of time. Even we're surprised. So
you're not supposed to say that.
Oh yeah, I wasn't supposed to say that. Sorry, forget you heard that, Foxy Dags. The other participants, they're going at a slower pace, but you know, they're working through just now. The people from September course are working through things just now. One of them's just getting her website sorted out this week. Another one's taking a step back to rethink her entire business because it's not going to help her reach the goal she wants to reach. So, you know, everyone goes at their own pace. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking because I could talk about this all day, and we don't have all day. So, hand back. Thank you very much.
No, thank you very much, and thank you, Lesley. That was really good. I enjoyed it. An exercise for me to go and do as well and get my goals sorted. But yeah, we'll circulate the email around with all the links. And by all means, if you have any questions, just shout and ask, and you know, we could do. I'm sure we'll be able to get some answers. But thank you very much, everybody. It was a really interesting coffee, very different from what we've done in the past. So this was really nice. Hope to see you guys again, Lesley. And thanks, Anne. You've got an amazing voice. Yeah, totally meant for meditation. I would agree.
Exactly. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is. I'm rubbish at meditation. I can't meditate, but I have to say, I think I did finally. You know, I felt myself going eventually.
You know, when I started out, I hated the whole idea of it as well. In fact, I could tell you so many just funny stories about it. But come and join me on a Monday. You'll love it.
Mondays. Lunchtimes and evenings. Get yourself on it.
Will do. Will do. Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks everybody for your questions as well. Have a lovely day, and speak soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.